friends. There's a quote that says, "They that have health have hope, and they who have hope have everything." Let's talk about the pursuit of health and hope today. Stay tuned. I'm Ashley White, the host of Joy on the Journey podcast, a weekly podcast all about finding, defining, and maintaining joy on the journey of life. Every week, I have the privilege of introducing to some and highlighting to others women that are making an incredible difference in the world. And this week is going to be super special. So I ask that you stay tuned all the way to the end. My guest this week is Dr. Katashia Partee Kendrick. She is best known as Dr. Katashia on Instagram or the Gut Health PharmD. She is a health practitioner, a health and wellness coach, board certified clinical pharmacy specialist in ambulatory care, an infertility survivor, and advocate and speaker. Y'all, she got all the hats and all the degrees. Dr. Katashia, I am so happy to have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this day. So thank you so much for having me.
Me too.
I'm truly, truly blessed. Thank you. Grateful.
Thank you. We start every podcast, and I can't wait to hear your definition. We start every podcast by asking guests to give their definition of joy. So, as you have thought about it, what does joy look like, feel like to you?
Hmm. I thought about this because I knew it was coming. And, I started to, let me go to the dictionary and let me listen to the other podcasts. And I say, think about it. Like, what is joy to you? And I thought about my journey. And to answer the question, what is joy to me, what it feels like, honestly, it's resilience. That's what it is to me, because I look down that road where I came from to be able to sit here today and talk to you about infertility, losing my dad, just my health conditions and things. I'm like, and to still be on this side and have peace, that's what joy is for me. Resilient, being able to come back, jump back, get back in the saddle and start over. Because right now, that's what it's about when you're facing adversity and being able to look at it, head on and still pick yourself up and dust yourself off and keep going. And that's where I am.
So prior to where you are today, when you were in the midst of these trials and you hadn't quite got to the resilient part, how would you have defined joy then?
That was probably the face joy was for me. Like, it was non-existent. To be honest, I would have to be truthful. I remember I did at our church on the avenue with Adrian Cosby, and I always feel bad when I say it. Like, I was mad, I was angry, I was just in a really bad place. I was mad at God. I'm like, you're not listening to me, you're not listening to my prayers. But joy wasn't there for me. It wasn't. I realized I felt like that God left me, and that wasn't the case. I left him because I feel like I can do it on my own. I can do all these own things, but that wasn't it for sure. But going through infertility, going through that don't get me wrong, my husband was there every step of the way. I even talk about him. We're going to get into this, how I told him to leave and, I was just in a bad place. And looking back at it, I don't regret it, because I learned those lessons. And I always talk about the lessons that I learned in that journey. Being able to keep the faith. That's what's really important, because I lost that. And keeping the faith for me is knowing that whatever I'm going through, God is right there. He's not going to pick me up and take me out of it. He was going through it with me, and that's what he was doing. So learning to keep the faith, not just in that situation, but that was the lesson I learned, to take it with me through others. Accepting the facts was the other lesson I learned. Because sometimes when we don't want to accept some things, we're in denial. And I had to accept the facts. I have endometriosis at stage 3. I have fibroids. I've had 2 myomectomies already. It wasn't looking good. But yeah, but God. But in the end, the fact was, when that doctor went in and opened me up and saw nothing but endometriosis over my body and fibroids, and she couldn't tell my liver from my kidney, all these things were all jumbled up in my chest.
Wow.
The fact was, she had to, I had to have a hysterectomy. Um, so accepting the facts, that lesson, again, took that with me doing other things in my life. Okay, let me sit back and look at this. This is what I'm looking at. So what decision? And making that decision, not making it by myself, but having God guide my steps, and knowing that, if it's aligned, then whatever decision it is, He's with me. And the last thing is why I'm here today. The last lesson, tell my story.
Yeah.
How, even if it's hard, difficult, cry, tell it, because it could most definitely change someone else's life. Holding on to information, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. I was suffering in silence, but I know just being quiet is not doing anything. Keeping it all in is just hurting me. And then when I was able to get through that and able to, find my voice, that's what's important now. So to be able to tell my story of how I got on the other side and being at peace. And now I can define joy as resilient now, because that's where I am.
Thank you so much for sharing. I want to move deeper into your joy journey, and you have already spoken so passionately about being a infertility survivor. Why has that been important, that you hold on to the survivor instead of the trials that you have faced?
Because I thought by being a mom, that was it. I thought I was going to be a mom before I was be a wife. I was going to be a mom. And that is not the case, because, it wasn't in God's plan for me, which was really hard to understand. Like, why? Why is it not in your plan for me? I'll be a good mom. What are you talking about? But I always define it as being pregnant and carrying my baby, where there's other ways to be a mom. I call my nephew son. That's my baby. He called me Mom T.
Oh, that's cute.
But I didn't have that at first. It's like going through this process, going through that allowed me to see that he's my baby. I feel like that saying infertility survivor, is because I went through fibroids, I went through endometriosis, and I feel like those are things that prevented that. But there was a reason for it, and the reason was to be able to come on the other side of this, to tell people that there is joy in being here, being at peace, knowing that I'm able to share my story, help other women. And I think I told you, they're able to birth possibilities at this point, because I never thought, that, no, I didn't give birth to a baby, but I gave birth to a business. I gave birth to new ideas, where I'm looking at holistic, practices to help women. So those are things that God opened my eyes to see, versus saying, oh, I'm going to be pregnant. And I think one of the questions we talked about with Reverend Tamla, she asked me, what do you want? Do you really want to be a mom? Do you want to be pregnant? And that question was hard, because I'm like, I couldn't answer it. And after a while, I realized that a part of that was, I wanted to be pregnant. So did I want to be a mom, or did I just want to have a baby shower? Did I want to, people to rub on my tummy? It's just like when people ask about marriage, you're getting married, you're having a wedding, but you're not thinking about the marriage type thing. And I started thinking about that. And so those are the questions I started answering and trying to figure some things out. And so that's what I mean by survivor, because it wasn't from just being pregnant. It was the idea of it all. And knowing that I am a mom. I'm a mom to my nieces and my nephews. There's a possibility to adopt. All those things are there for us, but surviving that is why I say survivor, but advocates, to let people know that I am with you in this own journey. I'm here to tell you that there's ways to, help now if you want to get pregnant. If you're trying to get pregnant, prepare your body for it and balance your hormones. Those are things that I didn't learn. Because a lot of times the doctors are trying to give you all these pills. And I know I'm not a hypocrite. I know I'm a pharmacist, but there's other ways naturally to actually, just get your body in balance. And that's what I want to do. So that's when I feel like being an advocate for myself and helping other people, to advocate for themselves. I think that's what it means by survivor. And being an advocate.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. One of the things that you have been determined, and you shared a little bit about this, is to not keep any information to yourself. And you serve through the waiting room, which is an infertility ministry at Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church. And so serving others while you're waiting is a different type of strength. What was the triggering
Mm.
moment that you had where you knew I got to help other people know that there's another side to this waiting season?
Mm. The waiting room, I say this all the time, saved my life.
Wow.
I mean, it's like people say save. I'm like, saved my life. I remember the day Reverend Tamla talked about starting the waiting room. I, prior to that, I haven't been to church in like a year
Okay.
because I was in that season where I'm like, God forgot about me. I'm mad at you. I'm mad at him type thing. And so I didn't go. I was just like, whatever. And so my husband, he was there with me. I told him to leave me in that time. You can leave me because I was just in a bad place. And one particular Saturday, I would never forget this. One Saturday, I heard, go to church tomorrow. And I'm looking like, it was so loud. But I'm like, okay. I just kept going with my day. And I heard it again, go to church tomorrow. And I went to my husband like, let's go to church tomorrow. And he was like, well, okay. Because, again, it's been a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Went to church, and that's the day Reverend Tam actually gave her first sermon that summer about her journey, infertility journey, and talking about starting a waiting room. And I'm bawling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bawling, crying because I'm like, she gets it. Whoever this lady is, she gets it. I need to meet her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the first one at that meeting. The waiting room. I went, and I remember sitting there like this. I had an attitude, like, never said a word. But I was at every meeting. I was that person on the front row giving you all these looks, all crazy. But they were giving me what I needed, but I didn't know how to express to them what I needed because I was still in this state of being angry. And the speakers and the women telling their stories, and I knew this was it. And Patrice Smith, I love her. We're really good friends. We met in the waiting room with each other. Our stories are different, but she still got it.
Mm-hmm.
And the waiting room allowed me to express myself. The waiting room allowed me to meet women on the same journey, on the journey, but different, different parts of the journey. But they were able to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say my mom and my aunts and my cousins, they really didn't. But they were there to support me. But these women truly understood what I was going through. And once I was able to open up and release what I was going through and talk, it made a difference for not just me, but the women around me.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that this place, I had to be able to do the same thing for someone else that was going a journey. So I kept coming. I kept going. And the waiting room allowed me to see that, yeah, support groups are great,
Mm-hmm.
but one-on-one therapy is where, what I needed as well. And that was the missing piece, I believe. I know that was the missing piece for me. And being able to get in therapy and the support group brought everything together for me. I'm still going. Don't think it's over. So therapy is great. But the waiting room is a safe space for women to be able to express themselves, to be able to talk about the things they're going through. There's some things my best friend, my sister, my best friend, she doesn't know about because the people in that room got it. And the waiting room is just that thing, that ministry that allows you to express yourself, be yourself, and cry with someone that literally knows what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
So I said it saved my life, and I knew I needed to get back. So over the years now, I'm a coordinator in the ministry, along with Patrice, and along with Kristen and Reverend T. It's one of those things that I look forward to every month. And my hysterectomy was 2016, and here we are in 2023, and the waiting room is still as important to me as then and now. So it's great.
Wow, thank you. You talk about, from what I'm understanding, the importance of community,
Yes.
the importance of folks that if you're down, they're gonna get down there with you. Not gonna stay long, cause come on, we got to get from this place. This
Yes.
place is not good for us. But they were willing to get down in. But you also spoke about people that are empathetic. They want to understand, but
Yeah.
that just hasn't been their experience. Can you share some advice about from folks that they mean well when they hear someone is going through an infertility struggle or a health struggle, and they want to be present but may not know how?
Mhm.
What do you think you would have helped you from someone, or hearing from someone, or someone doing when you were in those that deep dark moments?
Like, when I look back now and the things I've expressed to my friends, you hear it all the time. It's not cliche. Just be yourself. Being you helps a lot. I remember one of my good friends from pharmacy school. We talked all the time. We still do. Not like we did before, but we talk and talk. And I received her baby shower invitation in the mail. And we talk almost once or twice a week. And I'm like, "You're pregnant?" She was like, "Yeah, I didn't know how to tell you because I know what you were going through." And I think that hurt the most because people didn't know how to be themselves around me. Even though I know I'm going through my struggles, but it wasn't for you to stop being who you were or are. So my recommendation is really to be yourself. My best friend from college, no, she was going through fibroids and her things, but she was like, "I just don't know what to say, and I just want to be there for you."
Mm-hmm.
That's all I need. And or talking to me. If I call and we're talking, or how you doing, if I were having one of those days and I expressed myself, she was like, "Well, I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
Whatever you need from me." I wasn't looking for someone to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
I was really just looking for that support, just to say, "I'm here with you. I'm riding with you. I'm holding your hand. Whatever it is, I'm here for you." But, it wasn't a conversation I want to have every day. It's like, I want to talk about, "Oh, girl, these fibroids," and it's, no, I want to talk about that every day. It was just, if I was having that moment and I came to you about it, it's like, "Sis, I got you. What do you need?"
Mm-hmm.
Or if I just want to put my head on your shoulder
Yeah.
and cry, and that's it. Just rub my back. And so really it was just more about being there, not looking for you to fix.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, a lot of times we feel like by saying some things sometimes that that's gonna fix it. Like, I have people to say, "Oh, you don't have to be a mom. You're a great auntie."
Mm.
Or "You want my kids?" They get on my nerves.
Mm-hmm.
They saying it to be really nice, but it's like,
Yeah.
"You want to give your kid up to me?" Or, "Yeah, I know I'm a great auntie, but, having that, to be a mom." But a lot of times being quiet really truly is that you're helping your friend through it, because a lot of times everything doesn't need an answer. It's just literally just being there for them. And I think that's what I needed more than anything, that support of having my friend beside me. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. One of the things you said earlier, one of the 3 lessons that you learned going through your journey, was accepting the facts.
Oh, it's hard, huh?
Yeah. And so I also know several people that are medical, in the medical field. They got PharmDs, MDs.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those are the hardest folks to get them to go to the doctor, and then to not
We're
just.
the worst patients, right?
Yeah.
We are.
So, how was it to, one, accept something's going on with me and I need to go to the doctor, and then being acceptant of the facts that they were presenting?
I have some really good doctors. Dr. Nicole Cole, I have to say names. Dr. Nicole Cole out in Katy, she's my OB-GYN to this day. And she was like, "Girl, your case is something else." She was honest. She was like, "Your case, I won't be able to handle it. I gotta, you gotta go to someone else, because this is your case is outside of what I can do." And I respected that. She said, "Okay." I said, "Okay." Ended up going to a reproductive endocrinologist, Dr. Skorupski.
Okay.
Really nice guy. And the very first thing we walked in the room, he prayed. And I looked at my husband, and he was like, "Oh, we keep it."
You know the Lord? Yes.
It was just like, we sat down, he introduced himself. "Okay, let's pray." What? That's never happened to me in any doctor's appointment. I knew then he was going to be it. And he said, "I can do everything for you besides let that egg attach to the wall and become." He said, that's God. That has nothing to do with me. But I can do everything leading up to that, but that ain't me. And so, but he said again, your case need to go to someone who's really well versed in women trying to save their uterus, like cancer patients. He said your case is like really severe. You need someone who's been in a place where, okay, we need to do everything we can to save this. And so that's how I ended up with Dr. Alanese.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Alanese, she works with women, cancer patients, chemo, where they're actually trying to save everything to get pregnant after the fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, all three of these doctors were very supportive, and knowing what I wanted was to save my uterus so I can get pregnant. And Dr. Alanese was probably the most direct.
Okay.
She was honest, but she was direct. She was like, I can't see a whole lot in these MRIs and all these, other, all the testing you've done, but I really won't be able to see anything until I open you up. But she said, going in, I know that I'm saving it, but I can't tell you what's going to happen after that. And I'm on the table, so whatever decision, needs to be made, it was for my husband to make, and we've already had the conversation. And when I woke up from that surgery and I opened my eyes, I remember my mom on one side and my husband on the other. And I remember saying, did she save it? Did she save it? And my mom squeezed my hand. And I looked at my husband and he put his head down. And that's all I remember, because at this point I was back out again from anesthesia. The next day, Dr. Alanese came in and she was like, how are you feeling? She was so nice. How are you feeling? How is everything? I'm like, I'm good. She was like, I got to tell you about Joseph. She didn't like Joseph, my husband. Uh-huh. I'm like, what happened with Joseph? And she was like, Katashia, when I opened you up, she said, I saw nothing but endo lesions everywhere, fibroids everywhere. And my fibroids doubled every time I had surgery. So I had like 20 the first time and then 40. And this time it was like well over 60 fibroids and then endometriosis. So she said, I was sleeping on the floor at night. Because the bed was too soft. And I love a good firm mattress, but my bed was too soft for me. So I used to sleep on the floor. Wow. And my husband used to get on the floor with me and just hold me because I just wasn't comfortable. So, or I sleep literally like this in the bed every night. If I had to get in the bed, I just set up because that's the only relief I had. And when she opened me up, she said, I saw all your organs. I thought I saw your organs, but she said they were all in your chest. Wow. She was like, your body was just overtaken with fibroids and endometriosis. And she was like, if I would have tried to pick this out, I would have damaged your uterus, period, trying to save it. So I went down to talk to your husband and your mom, and I told them what I saw. And she said, Joseph said, do everything to save my wife. And so that's when she was so excited to tell me about what he said. And so she said, that's when she said, I wasn't able to save your uterus. So to answer your question, having great doctors on board are important. But trust me, I didn't just start off with these doctors. I went through some rough ones, some bad little apples in the beginning until I got this set of providers for me to help me. But then I've learned to advocate for myself, because before, when my first doctor said this, I did it. I believed everything my doctor said, and I realized that I wasn't asking the right questions, enough questions. And before I went to these doctors, I was most definitely a school teacher now to say, okay, oh no, this is what I need to know. This is what we're going to do. And if they weren't on the same plan with me, then they weren't the doctors for me. So, and then Dr. Skorupski didn't look like me, but the day when we walked in, when he prayed, I knew then this was the doctor. He just, that peace, like you said, that peace comes over you. Oh yeah, we're going to stick. But we never made it back to him because I had a hysterectomy. So my doctors made a difference for me, and being honest with me. And that's why even though we're, as a provider, it's hard to accept those facts. But if you have a doctor who is really direct and putting it on the table and there's no BS in the game, then I'm all for it. And that's how I ended up being in a place where trusting of the provider that I had.
And so thank you to those providers.
I had to get them out because they were great.
Yeah, absolutely. That have walked with you along this journey, that have been honest and sincere. Because sometimes, even when people are delivering hard news, do you care that you're giving it, or you just giving it because it is what it is?
And I want, my provider to be a human, and to be human, because those telling someone about the infertility or cancer diagnosis, whatever it is, you want someone to come in and be, empathetic,
Yeah.
even show sympathy, but also just be human because, even for me as a provider, when I'm talking to one of my patients at the hospital, I think about my brother because I work at the Veterans Hospital. So I'm thinking about my brother. I'm thinking about my uncles. I'm thinking about my dad or whoever because I want the person who's taking care of my family members to act like I do. I want to care and figure things out and say, okay, no, you have my word. I'm gonna call you back
Mm-hmm.
because if I tell you something, I'm gonna do it for you. So I'm always thinking that hopefully the person is treating my brother and my family member the same way that I treat theirs
Mm-hmm.
because I put myself in that situation. But even when I go to HEB, hey, how you doing? Talking to people because on the other side, I'm a human. I'm not, just some regular blow Joe. I want to let people know who I am and what they say, what you truly do behind closed doors, or when no one's not looking, that's what's important.
Mm-hmm.
Integrity for me.
Yeah, that's what matters. Absolutely. You are the founder and CEO of Celebrate Health and Wellness Consulting. Can you share the vision behind starting this company and who you have hoped to help?
See, that made me smile. Celebrate Health and Wellness Consulting. Oh man, my little baby. That's my, birthing possibilities. I started the company in the beginning because of my own journey. I wanted to help women. That's all I said. I want to help women. But also, it has evolved in helping women looking to establish happy, healthy hormones. So, not just women looking to get pregnant, just women who perimenopausal women, menopausal women from all walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm one of those women who had fibroids. I was looking to get pregnant. Now I'm 46. I don't mind telling my age. Perimenopausal, all those things. So I want to be able to show women holistically how you can balance your hormones,
Mm-hmm.
and it starts right here in the gut. So I wanted to be able to help women um, from my own experiences, my own journey, because what I'm talking about, I've lived through it.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to help women and show them that, and that's why I started my business.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, we shared before
Yes.
the podcast started. You can't be on social media, you can't see an infomercial without hearing the term gut health. What does it mean?
And that's not get that all the time. People's like, "What is good health?" And I laugh because it's like the definition was like, "Oh, it's just the state of your gut." No, that doesn't tell you anything. And when I think about gut health, it's like the commercial back in the day says, "Do you know where your children are?" It's like, "Do you know what's going on inside?" Gut health starts from the top to the bottom. Honestly, gut health starts in your mouth. So what are you putting in it? Gut health starts, and what you're putting in it is like, for example, the food that you put in, are you chewing it?
Mm.
Are you chewing it well? And then you have to swallow it. It has to go through this many processes until it gets to your stomach. And again, when it gets here, are you absorbing what you're putting in your mouth? So it is the state of what you're doing from the top, meaning it starts here and goes here. And the process literally deals with absorbing, digesting, and if you're not doing it, it's really based on in what's in your gut. Do you have proper acid? Do you have um, overgrowth with bacteria or yeast that's preventing you from absorbing those nutrients from the food?
Mm.
And so a lot of times we find people just over supplementing themselves because, oh, I don't have energy, I need B vitamins and all these different things. But honestly, it all starts here. Your hormones, when you think about mental health, your hormones, serotonin, dopamine,
Yeah.
is here. So if you're not able to absorb the nutrients, and if it's imbalanced, then you're going to have imbalances everywhere else. So the gut health is truly starting here, knowing what you're putting here to be able to absorb it here. And if it's off, that's where it starts. Here, here. Stress, all those things. Like it starts with what you put in your mouth.
My mind is blown because it makes so much sense. Um, but this is not what we were taught.
No, we weren't taught this. And I didn't know this. I don't want to sit here and say, oh, I knew. No, I didn't. When I went through infertility, I was like, there has to be another way. I don't want to keep taking all these pills. Like, what is, because I had high blood pressure, stressed out. And when I said, you know what, let me just research. I can do this. And when I researched and I fell in love with the process of, because I was diagnosed with IBS. irritable bowel syndrome. I was taking with C, so I'd be at C with constipation. No one say, "Oh, take this pill, and you'll be okay. You'll go to the bathroom." And I'm like, "This it?" So I'm taking the pill, but I'm like, it has to be something else. I have endometriosis. I'm pretty sure that those lesions was, squeezing on my intestines, where I couldn't go to the bathroom. No one ever told me that. Mm. Or IBS is just a whole bunch of symptoms, gas, bloating, all these things. But what's causing it? I want to know the why. And that's why I got into the why of starting my business, because I wanted to get to the root cause of these symptoms versus getting a pill just to help me go to the restroom. So, and that's the difference between conventional medicine, which is actually you come in with a symptom. Oh, you have this. Oh, I had a pill for this. You can take this, and that's fine. But functional medicine look at the root cause of that why. So my why was I had overgrowth in my stomach of bacteria and yeast. So let's start working on that. Looking at the other things holistically, stress, sleep, all those things I was really missing. And when I started to work on that, mastering the basics, that's when I started to feel better. And and that's what I think we talked earlier about, mastering the basics. And my programs and the things I have is not a weight loss program. It's really about mastering the basics, and the side effect of that is weight loss.
Yeah. So I want to poke on
Okay, go ahead.
two things. No, no, no. Oh, this is so good. I'm like, tell me more. But I think it's two things is figuring out the why. And in this social media, this fast-paced world, oftentimes, just give me the medicine that's going to help me.
Yeah.
And if we get to the why, great. But I want something right now.
Yes.
So what would you tell a client that's like, yeah, I hear what you want to do. I hear it, but I want to start this now.
I can be honest with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Please.
If I have a client, someone comes to me like, need some help now and I need it done now, then I'm not your provider. Because I'm not offering now services. So I'm like, I'll be honest, if that's what they want, then I'm not the person for you. And to say that is hard. It was hard for me in the beginning, because I'm like, oh no, I gotta help. But if you're looking for something now, then I'm not that person for you, because holistic health or natural medicine or function is not right now. You must take some time to actually do the things that you need to do to master those basics. If you know you're only getting 4 hours of sleep a night, do you really think that's just going to help with your gut health? No, it's not. If it's going to help with balancing your hormones, no, it's not. Just getting 8 hours, 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night truly helps with optimal health. It's overall health in general, period, getting enough rest. So if anyone comes to me asking for right now, then I'm not the provider. And honestly, that person is not really looking for holistic. They're really looking for going into a conventional provider to help them get a pill to take what they actually need some help with. So if you need some help now, then I would recommend going back to the provider. But if you're looking to say, you know what, I am looking to master those basics, I'm not really getting enough sleep. I really want to know the root cause of what's going on in my stomach, so I can be able to fix those things. I don't want to say the word fix, because in holistic medicine, we're not fixing anything. We're actually looking for deficiencies. We're looking for those toxicities to balance them. Let me say that, versus fixing, because I'm not a provider where I can diagnose, treat, and do any of that. If you want that, then you would go to a conventional provider. But holistically, I'm looking to help you with your deficiencies and toxicities to get them back balanced, so you're able to live a more healthier lifestyle.
And I think that speaks to the overall wellness picture, is that we need to go slower. Just in life, period. We need to make sure that we're getting enough sleep, that we're eating the proper things, that we're checking in with ourselves. I think in this go-get-it era,
We want it now, and it's hard.
yeah, and we are willing sometimes, and let me just speak to myself, sacrifice. Well, if I just stay up a little longer, I can get this done, not realizing then the ripple effect. You can never make up for the sleep. And so I think this is mind-opening for me, that I can do the things that God has charged me to do and do them better by taking care of me and learning the basics, not trying to rush to, I want to hit this result, but slowing down and making sure that I'm doing things that are sustainable.
Sustainable.
Um,
I'm sorry. I'm like, you said the word sustainable. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I wasn't trying to cut you
No,
off, but no,
no,
like
no. Go ahead.
sustainable. I I weighed over. I think the max I was at 298.
Okay.
And of course, I wanted to lose weight now. I was one of those people, don't get me wrong, I want to lose weight now, I want to do this now and do that now. And I have lost over 100 pounds naturally, and I've kept it off. Again, I've been in several programs, meaning like I've did like weight loss challenges and things like that. But was I really sleeping properly? Was I really managing my stress? Watching what I'm eating? All those things come into play. Toxin removal, and this is something I learned in this holistic space when about the things that we put on our bodies, the makeup, the lotions, the laundry detergents, all that can affect you. And when it comes to gut health, it's called endocrine disruptors. So you're dealing with fibroids and endometriosis. Literally, there is, you think about phthalates, this is a toxin, or parabens that we find in different laundry detergents and different things we have in our house. It literally can enter our body and kind of mimic estrogen. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna turn, I'm gonna turn. It mimics estrogen in your body. So even though you have your own estrogen that your body is holding on to, and you have fibroids, you're putting all this other stuff on your skin that's going into your body. It's literally acting like estrogen. So now you have more estrogen in your body that's literally growing that fibroid or growing that endometriosis lesion, all those different things. So when it comes to holistic health, we're looking at the whole body, mind, body, and soul. But we're looking at diet, we're looking at movement, we're looking at toxins, we're looking at sleep, we're looking at stress, we're looking at your emotional balance. Mental health is important, as well as mindset, and then supplementation. So before we go into, oh, let's take this supplement, let's do this, let's look at the basics first. Because if you're not, people say, oh, you are what you eat. No, you are what you absorbed. So if you're not,
you just breaking everything that we were taught.
if not, you're not what you eat. So say you're eating, what it say, you're eating a nice salad, and you have issues in your tummy, right? You haven't, say, I'm assuming we'll say candida overgrowth, which is yeast or bacteria overgrowth, and you eat this nice healthy salad and you feel great, but you're bloated now, you're gassy. It's like, I just had a salad.
Yeah.
But those things, it could be the food that you're eating. One, you're not absorbing it well, and then what's overgrown or what's in your belly is from, say, years of processed food, junk food, and all these other things. That's your body's, you have food sensitivity. So you're thinking, oh, I'm eating spinach, yay. But then every time you eat spinach, oh, my stomach cramping and this, that, and the other. It's something going on inside that we need to check out. It could be, and testing, you can get it done with testing. A lot of the functional testing are different from the tests that you get from your regular provider, because this test actually looks to see what's going on in your gut. We're looking for that why.
Wow.
So I know a lot of times my mama said, well, I can't eat greens. Why you can't eat greens, mama? It gives me this and it gives me that. So it's mentally being in a state where I want to know what's going on there. I want to dig deeper. Because when I'm looking at my clients, a lot of times they come into me for a holistic approach, because they fed up, their back against the wall. I've been to my doctors and I'm taking this pill, but nothing's getting better. So they want to dig deeper. And I always tell them, before we dig deeper, let's talk about these basics. And so, because once we master those, then that testing is going to be a little bit easier, because now you're in a different mindset.
Yes. Y'all didn't already know. She's about to celebrate an anniversary.
Oh, yes.
And but when she comes back, my email will be at the top of her email list, because I am intrigued about maintaining, learning new practices, and then moving into a more sustainable lifestyle.
And that's important. And I was literally leading to losing over 100 pounds naturally, and keeping it off was because of those tools. I mean, and I'm not knocking surgery. I'm not knocking weight loss drugs or anything like that. I'm saying that I want to find a way that once I found the root cause, how can I maintain this? Because stress and I became real good friends. Doing my infertility, all of that.
Yeah.
Besties, actually. But I realized that, I was doing crazy workouts. That's stress. stress on your body that can lead to, increasing your cortisol and belly fat and all those different things. So my goal is to try to do things that kind of relaxes my nervous system. I'm not sure you say you were on my Instagram. I love breath work.
Mm-hmm.
I call it now 15-minute days. So in the morning I do 15 minutes of breath work. Midday was it in the middle of your day
You
when you're
need
at
it.
work. You're like ah. So take that minute for myself, and then in the evening, it's just those little things that I want people to realize that it's nothing. I wouldn't say that it's simple. It's simple, but yet
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard because the basics we're not really mastering those.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sustainable is the word for sure.
Ah, so normally I would hold this to the end, but for those you've spoken so passionately and you've educated all of us so much on some things that we need to retool for folks that are local in Houston or even those that are beyond the confines of Houston. How can
Oh.
they get in touch with you?
So, Celebrate Health and Wellness is virtual. It's a virtual health company. So you're able to find me. My website is drkatashia.com. Or you can find me on social media. On Instagram, Dr. Katashia, the Gut Health PharmD. Facebook, Celebrate Health and Wellness. But most definitely, my website and social media is where you can find me.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Y'all go out there and support. Get the help that you deserve. Before I let you go, you talked about your beloved husband who has held your hand and your
Mm-hmm.
heart through all of these various journeys. What has he taught you about love and compassion?
Wow, Joseph, he is really sweet. The sweetest guy ever. I'll say that. Joseph, when I met him at the bank. I just want to say I met him at the bank, and at that time, he had that little camera at the bank when you go through the drive-through. And I used to talk, and he used to always call me Miss Partee, Miss Partee, when I used to come to the bank. That's when I was being mom T. So every other Friday, I would go to the bank and put money in my nephew's account because he was in
Okay.
college. And I would always go and I look for Joseph. And that smile, he would always smile so big. And I'll smile right back. And it came to the point when I come to the bank, the guys are coming. It's like, wait just a second. I'm like, okay. And they'll put Joseph in the camera versus, that guy would help me. But anyway, just Joseph's heart. Um, I love him. When we met, and he told me how he ended up in Houston. He said he moved from Jackson, Mississippi, because he just lost his mom. He lost his mom at 19. She had cancer. He was in college. He was a sophomore in college. Went home and he just didn't know he lost his mother. And he was like, his mom died within a week.
Mm.
She didn't tell them that she had cancer, and to hear that story and how his sister and his brother, how they just kind of bonded together and knowing that family was important, I just kind of like, oh my god, I fell in love, like, oh my god, family is important, that's me. And so and we always prayed together. Again, just like the doctor, when that doctor went in, I looked right at him like the doctor wanted to pray. That's the first thing Joe said, let's pray first. And his love for God, his faith, Joseph still to this day, he laugh. We laugh now, but he was like, "You can get pregnant, but God." I'm like, babe, I don't have the tools to get pregnant. But it's just his faith is, beyond, and I fell in love because of that. But Joe has been there every step of the way, and the love for people. We can, I started keeping money in my car to pass out to when I see homeless people because he used to keep clothes and shoes and things in his trunk. So if he was at a light and he saw a man one time with no shoes on, and he went to the trunk and took some shoes out and gave it to. It's like his heart is so big, and then he just kind of just bleeds it into me. So he's taught me a lot about this loving on other people, not thinking of yourself all the time and looking for the next person and then helping the next person. And I love that about him and his family. And then when it comes to Joseph, and it just the love freely, and to be open to all possibilities. That's one of the, like he said, don't punk me, but I'm open to all possibilities. That's all he don't. That's what he's like. I'm open to possibilities. He's like, but don't take advantage. But his open heart, his warm heart to help others and love on others outside of him. When he's like, guys, I love yourself and love your neighbor. Oh, Joseph, love our neighbors, and that's one of the things he's taught me, to be open to other people and helping. But he showed me that, and I love that about him.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing a portion of your love story and a portion of your journey. The final section is your journey ahead. So
Mm-hmm.
as you are praying and seeking God's face and favor, would you dare share your hope for yourself, for your family, for your business, however you want to answer
Mm.
it in 5 years?
In 5 years, where do I see it? I can honestly say I didn't even know I would be here in 2023. I pray God continue just to open my eyes to be able to help other people. I'm doing all this. I want to give Him all the praise and glory at all the time, and I want Him to be able to just. I want to be able to have an impact on more women, to be able to educate them about mastering the basics because I learned it. And as a pharmacist, we learn so many things, but let's go back to the basics. That's why I want to turn, those things into a major program where I can help more women on a bigger scale. I want to be in my business. I want to be able to. I run a functional liver detox group. I want to grow that group to help more women, and Joseph is there, so I do have some men to get in the groups too. But I want to be able to help more women understand mastering the basics, knowing that by mastering the basics, we can get to the deep and dirty of hormone health and gut health. Um, I would love to have a supplement line where pharmacists formulate it, where I'll be able to help people there, knowing, understanding, and educating about supplements. Because a lot of times, I need to get a multivitamin. Do you truly need a
Mm.
multivitamin? So being able to truly educate on that, education is what I really want to be able to do. Talk about that, give back. Um, I want to be able to, with this supplement line, to be able to give a portion of those monies to women. I want to do a grant for women. I know the waiting room, we do grants for
Mm-hmm.
infertility, but I want to be able to provide women with grants as well. So I want a portion of the monies to do that, as well as give to an organization that I love. It's called We Can Wear White, which is an organization for women to bring awareness to fibroids.
Yeah.
I work with them, and I would love for a portion of the proceeds to go to that organization to help grow it because I love what she's doing. Tanika, I love her work. Outside of helping women, I want to be able to give other ways. So that's where I see the business going, and to be able to just grow personally and professionally. But on top of all that, just my relationship with God, being able to grow and constantly know that He's my Father and I'm not going
Mm.
anywhere because I lost myself along this journey, but I'm not looking to do that anymore. So
Mm.
whatever I do, I want Him to guide my steps and order my steps, and I want to follow whatever He's taking me.
Ah, I could not hope for all of that and more, not just for the work that God is continuing to do with you, but the work that He's doing through you,
Mm.
and women and families that are going to be generationally blessed because you are teaching them how to master the basics.
Oh, thank you.
So, thank you for your work. Thank you for your service. And most importantly, thank you for pouring out to others.
Oh,
And
thank you so much for having me. You are
absolutely.
sunshine. You just a breath of fresh air, and I thank God that He allowed us to cross paths. And thank you so much for having me here. I am truly grateful.
No, the privilege is all
No,
mine.
thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
She has already given the websites
Yes.
and all of her contact information. It will be in the description of this video. But while you're already here, please subscribe to the channel, like, comment, let Dr. Katashia know your favorite takeaways.
Oh, yes, please. Thank
What
you.
did you learn? Or did you have as many wow moments as I did about how everything literally works together?
Yes.
Literally, God created these bodies for a reason and a
It's
purpose.
a wonderful machine.
Yeah, let us learn how to treat it better. That's my takeaway.
Thank you.
But until we gather again every single Thursday, may God increase your joy, grant you strength for the journey, and give you the courage to tell your story. Bye, friends.
Bye.